Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Like It Ain't. We are excited to be here. You know,
Indeed, we
uh,
definitely are.
brother, how are you doing this week? It's been another long week. How you doing?
Long but busy and productive
Word.
and positive for the most part. So I no complaints. And
Yeah,
you know what they
same.
say about complaining.
Shh, man, listen. So you can complain if you want to, but who's listening half the time?
Exactly.
People
Or
ask you how
who's
you doing,
or
but
who's
then when
canceling at this time.
oh God, brother. Speaking of canceling, great segue. Great segue. Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Like It Ain't. And like my brother Vic has segued into, we're doing part two. Tonight's topic is part two to the cancel culture conversation. Okay. And of course, we are going to have our other co-host, Nicole. She'll be joining us in a little bit. We're excited, you know, this cancel culture and everything involved in it. It's such a really interesting topic.
Yeah, man.
There's so much to
Yeah,
say,
man.
So let's start with this first video that can kind of set the tone for the night. And big
Hmm.
up to everyone that's watching tonight. Big up to y'all. We appreciate your viewership.
When we look at cancel culture, it's concerned about majority, uh, two things: gender and sexuality and race. These are the unsolvable conundrums that continually present themselves to us. So I can understand why people say, look, courts can't resolve them. Public fora can't resolve them. So let's go on the internet and then resolve them. We can get immediate justice. We don't like Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby or R. Kelly. So we get to the heart of the matter because we don't have time to go to court or the right or sufficient capacity to do so, to hold them accountable. That might work in a few cases, but for the most part, we're beating up on each other. We're mad at somebody making a mistake, somebody making a mistake trying to do the right thing, a faux pas. And then we hold them accountable and we eviscerate them, we evaporate them, we disappear them. And I don't think that's right. All of us are human beings who are tending to make mistakes. All of us are prone to be vulnerable. I would like it in the end for us to acknowledge that, yes, we must be held accountable. We must pay the price for our quote sins, but we must be held up and stood up, forgiven, moved forward, have redemption and restoration so that we don't have retributive justice where we punish somebody, but we have restorative justice where we integrate them back into the fabric of our communities and allow them to move forward.
Mm, I love that. I
Wow,
love
he covered
that.
it very well.
Not retributive, but restorative justice.
And there she
You know,
is.
hey, Nicole, can you hear us?
Oh, we've been canceled once again.
What happened? Our software has canceled us. Damn it. Damn it. What did we say wrong, Vic?
Already only
We got
5 minutes in, and we've been canceled once again.
only 5 minutes in. And this time they're trying to cancel Nicole. I'm upset about this. I don't like this. You can pick on me and Vic all you want.
do this on
You leave Nicole out of this.
never see if I
Don't
can
pick on our sister.
my phone.
Yeah, log in on your phone and then come back in with us. We'll be waiting. We'll be ready for you. So I love what Eric Dyson said there, because really what he was speaking to is what are we really doing here in this with this whole cancel culture? When someone does something that's wrong and you cancel them, is that the end of them then? Or depending on what they've done, do they get an opportunity to learn from their mistakes?
Good question. Good question.
Like, what have we done? I mean, I guess it depends.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody like Bill Cosby, you would say, okay, let's say Bill serves his prison sentence and gets out. Do you then give someone like him a chance if he's shown or he's doing things, he's speaking publicly, apologizing or doing things to show he learned? Do we continue to shun, or do we forgive and truly forgive? Maybe not forget, but forgive.
It's a good question, and I think you stated it like exactly how I would have stated it. As far as it depends, all depends on what it's in regards to. See, for me, it's tough because there's there's a few huge button pushes for me. One would be domestic violence, which I stated on the last episode. Any man putting his hands on a woman, vice versa. Either way, it's wrong. But especially when a man puts his hands on a woman, there's no tolerance for me, from me with that in regards to that. Um,
So it
it's
depends.
yeah, it's that's a really
See?
again, it just really depends on the situation. I mean, can anyone be forgiven? Possibly. I mean, I could just go based on my own life experiences dealing with people who have, and I'm just gonna put it out there on Front Street. Like I've had dudes sleep with my ex.
Mm,
A lot of people would have told me that would have been like a no go for me. That would have been a wrap. Like there's no
mm.
circling back from that. And I ended up forgiving dude. It may have taken like a year and a half, but I ended up
And wait,
forgiving him for that
you were with the woman
at the
and
time.
one of your friends slept with her while y'all were together.
Yeah, and not just
Okay.
any friend. This
This
is this
wasn't
is
like afterwards, like, oh, y'all
n-
broke up and then okay, this was during y'all relationship.
not no afterwards, and this wasn't just any friend. This dude was like a brother to me. This dude
Mm,
has seen them come and go, giving me advice, and really was just like
wow,
a brother to me. And it was done in the most grimiest way.
wow.
So, like I said, it took me, and straight up right after the situation happened, I wanted to fight dude.
Yeah,
Straight up. There was no, because it was that passionate and that deep for me. And it
yeah,
took over a year and a half to reconcile with him and just come to terms with that. And the only reason why that was even an option was because his brother and I were also good friends. So he kind of bridged that gap,
mm,
but it really took me time. So my point in saying this is that it depends on the situation and how I guess emotionally connected you are, or maybe not so
yeah.
much so. It's just it could be your morals and standards to just like,
Yeah.
no, I just
But
can't.
you even bring up a bigger point there, though, as well. We have to, in general, learn to exhibit and own more patience
Mhm.
because you just spoke about the situation with your friend who betrayed you.
Right.
Okay. So that means you were connected in that situation. And then his brother was also a connection. But when we
Absolutely.
look at these other situations online where people get canceled, sometimes it's celebrities that we're, fond of, or sometimes it's just somebody online saying something wrong.
Mhm.
We're not connected to those people. So
Right.
we wouldn't have the same type of patience to try to work it out or to try to give them a chance like you eventually did with dude because of your connection to him, and then even more so the connection to the brother who was the glue keeping it
Right.
together.
Right.
We don't have that glue when we're just on social media scrolling and deciding to cancel somebody.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
to replace that connection, we need to replace it with patience
Right.
because we don't know the whole story when it's on social media. That's for sure.
Not at
You
all. And we
know?
don't even aside from, like I stated last time, with sound bites and clips and little
Mhm.
trailers of things where we don't get the full movie, we're quick to judge and just again cancel a
Yes.
situation without getting the full situation.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, on the flip side of that, it depends on what that situation is. Because for me, there's a no tolerance level with certain things. And let's
Yeah.
keep it funky. Like we even have some of these situations within our own family, whether it's we see it with our parents, our father putting his hands on our mothers,
Mm.
uh, whoever,
Yeah.
where there's like, that emotional tie. But to your point, from looking at it from a distance from the outside, looking in, it could be just a moral standard, or, you know, you just,
Yeah.
like you said, don't have the patience or the tolerance, or I don't have the patience or the tolerance.
It's really a deep and sticky and thick subject to try to get through because it all depends also on each person's individual stance and experience in life,
Hmm.
because someone who has been raped is going to be even more sensitive to cases like R. Kelly's,
Right.
Bill Cosby's, you know, someone who and so it depends on each case, and then someone who's not might be
Emotionally
removed
tied.
from it, and they're not emotionally tied, right? But then again, like I said, that's where we have to have patience on both sides. Patience for those that are disconnected to get connected, or to at least grow an understanding. And for those that are deep in the mix that have experienced it, don't be as harsh to judge those that don't understand it. That's how you and I were judged with that video clip.
Right,
we were judged by someone who experienced it, and she spoke at us as if we were supporting something that we totally were not.
And like she didn't know us. That was the thing that bugged me out.
She didn't know us. But see, that's what happens. You can't see the forest for the trees because you're because you're caught up in your experience and your stance. And that's very valid, especially when you're talking about something like rape. I mean, who are we to say what's right or what's wrong when it comes to what a rape victim feels? We're not. But we're also not going to sit here and be judged by a rape victim in or put in the same cancellation category as someone who's a rapist. Because they tried to cancel us just like they would cancel somebody who literally would have said, I didn't mind what R. Kelly did.
See, that's what kind of rubbed me a little bit extra, was just like knowing how passionate and intolerant that I'm just no tolerance with that type of thing. For someone to even like insinuate or connect me with something to like co-sign in something like that is just like, wow.
It almost troubles your spirit.
No, not almost. It definitely does. You know what I mean? Like I don't mess with that. I don't mess with that. And you do want to be empathetic and sensitive towards somebody's experience, especially with one that you've never gone through or can't imagine going through.
Right.
If for instance, something like racism, for me, I know that's a no-go. That's another no-go for me. Right. Like we can, and I've had several situations that just occurred last year through social media where people looked at my posts, like when you do these hashtags, especially on Facebook, these people see these hashtags, they chime in, they respond and add their opinions. And I had a couple of people respond like as if I was living back in the past and racism was a thing of the past. And I'm just like, dude. And we had a back and forth. It got heated to where we were like inviting each other to each other's hands. But then somehow, by some will of God, by the end of the discussion online, dude said he had respect for me. And we actually ended up like, he was like, yo, I understood your point. I understand your point now after this exchange. So something like that is tricky. Like I know there's no excuse. There's no like tolerance of racism. But if you can have like you said, that patience and that dialogue to kind of remove those layers and those scabs or whatever and get at the meat and potatoes, and somebody's open enough to understand and be empathetic towards the situation. Hey, I'm open to that.
And then on top of that, you have to then take that and be choosy, because there are some people you can't have that type of patience for, because at the end of the day, they're going to still believe what they believe, period, point blank. It's like they say, pick and choose your battles. Mikkel said, you were lucky, Vic. Not many are that open to understand. That's what I was saying. It's like you got to pick and choose, because otherwise you're going to waste your time on all these nincompoops that don't deserve your time. And by the way, big up to everyone that's in the chats and that's tuned in tonight. Big up to Brother Steve. Power
appreciate
to the
you, brother. Thank you.
All people. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to bring the sister back in.
There she goes.
See what we got here. Oh, she's not frozen either.
Yes.
Nice.
Much better. Except I can't figure out. I'm on my tablet now, and I'm trying to figure out where the camera is, because I keep looking. Oh, that's probably why.
There you go.
The camera's over this way.
There you go.
Okay.
Right. There you go.
But I need to look over here to look at you two.
He's like, because the camera's over here, right? Oh.
I wish
But
y'all
you
would have
got
saw
it
that
together.
trick.
Salute.
I wish y'all would have seen that the viewers would have saw that trick we experienced before the show started. That was some.
Yeah,
What were you guys talking about? You were saying that I just disappeared.
Halloween came early this year. I don't know what that disappearing act was about, but that was quite spooky.
Yeah. For everyone that doesn't know, before we logged in for the live show, she was logging in. She froze up, and it was like she was here. And the next thing you know, her picture just went away. Well, not her picture. She went away.
She went away.
Still there.
It's crazy. Not even a glitch. It was just like
abracadabra.
It was exactly. Boom. And then she was back. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not even here for that. I don't want none of that smoke. So I'm gonna stay peaceful.
Be very aware. Be aware.
Steve said my baby mama is in the house. Holla.
See, so, you know, yes. Kids, you're gonna have people talking and stuff.
Yeah, of course. That's what he does it for.
Yo, I wanna ask y'all a question. I'm glad Nicole's in the space now, and I want to ask Steve because he chimed in and agreed with me earlier about domestic violence. Now, I try to always look at things from different perspectives, and you see shows, you see movies where the genius and the brilliance where they show each side of the coin and spectrum to somebody's life experiences, both past, present, and future, right? So for a person who's had a traumatic experience with domestic violence, or they've been beaten as a child and they carry it on into their new family and their new marriage or relationship, like they're not bad people per se, but it's just that trauma and what they have been used to dealing with as a child, and it just spills into their new experience. Do you forgive that person? Do you open your mind to understand where they come from and how that came about? Do you cancel them, or do you go through the steps of trying to forgive that person and understanding? If they want the help, if they reach out for the help and say, hey, look, I have a problem, I'm seeking help.
Nicole?
Well,
yeah, this is deep.
I think, I think the short answer is yes, you forgive them. But what does forgiveness look like? Forgiveness doesn't always have to mean that you still, like, if you are the recipient of that abuse, that doesn't mean that you have to stay in that relationship. Right. That means, you know, it's almost like, you know, some people you got to love from afar. So you can forgive people and then, you know, figure out what your relationship is going to look like. So your relationship may be that, and a lot of times the forgiveness is more for you, because if you're the recipient of the abuse, then you do need to forgive that person, just for your own good and for your own healing. But that other person, I mean, I think it's great that they acknowledge the issue and they take responsibility for it, and then they're really, you know, they're ready to work on it. And so I think, you know, it's good to be a supporter of someone who's willing to work on themselves in that way. But, you know, like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to stick around for the abuse. It doesn't mean that you know, you owe it to them to be there every little moment while they're working on themselves. If for some, you know, strange reason it comes back around later on, years from now, that, you know, you're ready to be the person that, you know, I'll put it in my first person, as if, like, if I were the recipient, if you're ready to be the person that I'm deserving of, then, you know, fine. But right, exactly. You're not obligated to be abused. So definitely, I mean, I think, you know, forgiveness is one thing, but it's, you know, if you're saying forgiveness means you have to stick around just because they decided, oh, I'm going to work on myself. Well, you know, change doesn't happen overnight. So, like, while you're working on yourselves, I might get beat up in the process, you know.
Right. No.
And that's
not,
you know, happening.
I had read a statistic years ago that said the average woman who's in an abusive relationship, it takes them between 9 and 11 different abusive situations that happen before they actually leave forever. And that's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's insane, because it makes me wonder, why does that happen? And I know there's many reasons. But to answer Vic's question, I feel like all of this is case by case.
And some don't even have the opportunity to leave.
Right. Some of them don't have the opportunity to leave, or they think they don't, or there's that Stockholm syndrome. There's so many reasons, or they're fearing for their life.
And that's what I meant. Some have their life taken from them. Yeah.
Forgive and then pack your bags and be out. Deuces. Exactly. Because I've heard some very bad stories.
Same here.
Of things that happen to women who stuck around a bit too long.
Right.
Well, can I just say something to that?
Please.
So I just, I mean, Vic, I've heard you say that, you're a big advocate for domestic violence victims, and and I imagine, John, that you are as well. And I don't know how much, background. I don't even know how we got on this. I guess I missed a whole lot being out. But just so a lot of times, I used to be a prosecutor, a domestic violence prosecutor. And people, pray and pack. The thing is that when you're not in it, it is very, very hard for you to understand. Why don't you just leave? What's wrong with you? You like this abuse? Why don't you just leave?
Well, that's
leave
wrong.
Him, girl.
What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
That's wrong.
But the thing is that is the normal reaction. I don't understand why she just doesn't leave. And I'm saying she, but there are men. I had a couple who were victims in my cases that I've prosecuted, but for the majority of cases, they are women now. Majority of reported cases, because you do have same-sex couples as well, and then you also have a lot of men who are abused, who are too prideful to report it. So, but the thing is that I think we who are people who are not in it, I'm not even gonna it was a very this issue was very close, to me. And I had to get to the point where I was just like, you know what? When you're ready, you'll leave him. And she did. But it took a lot. And it was just like, what is wrong with you? What is the problem? But the thing is, we who are the supporters, the family members, the friends, just the regular bystanders, when someone's in that situation, you have to just be supportive of, like, what do you need? What do you need from me? Is it just that you need me to just listen to you go on about how he's hitting you? Because that's, sometimes what they need at that moment. Because they need to leave, they will. Sometimes it is very difficult because you think about it. First of all, they either have been traumatized before, so their own mentality is such that they don't feel strong enough to leave, no matter how confident they are. There are people who are professional women in their careers, but then, like, in their home life, they are victims of domestic abuse, and they have been abused not just physically, but mentally and spiritually, and so they don't have what it takes to say, or that little voice, how sometimes even we as strong people, have this voice that says, like, I wanna be an actress. And then it's like, you get all these no's and these rejections at your interview, what do you call it, the casting call or whatever, and then you got a voice in your head where you failed at that other thing before anyway, so you're no good. Sometimes we all have that little voice in our heads. Domestic violence victims are the same way. They have a voice in their head. Why are you leaving him? That's your bread and butter. If you leave, he has mental issues, so he didn't really mean it. He didn't take his medicine, whatever.
Right. Well, but let me jump in here. So I totally agree with you, and I appreciate everything you're saying. I also feel like you said earlier, you mentioned how somebody might come in and say, or have the question like, what's wrong with them? Why do they blah, blah, blah? There's nothing wrong with thinking that or having that question to yourself, because it's human nature to not understand, but try to get an understanding. Like you said, be supportive of this person. Being supportive is not being in front of them and saying to them, what's wrong with you? You crazy? But that doesn't help them, not one bit. If anything, it might make them retract some. you know.
And to
But
keep it funky, I mean, a lot of us have been in all types of abusive relationships or toxic, unhealthy relationships where it takes quite a bit of time for us to leave. I know I've been in that situation where, you know, this person, the same person actually I spoke about earlier, cheated and cheated and cheated. And I had to be sure within myself before listening to anyone else that I was making the right decision. And it was a comfortability thing. It was, you know, a comfort zone. And in some cases, a lot of people just feel like they hope and wish that the person changes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even all deep and philosophical. It's just like, well, I hope this person, why do you stay with that person? Because I love them and I hope that they'll change and see the error of their ways and things change up. You know what I mean? So whether it's abuse, physical, mental, you know, verbal, all the above, this is what it is. It's that simple. But like you stated, I just have a no tolerance policy with domestic violence at all. None. Zero.
People in the chat.
So wait, I was just wondering. So your position is that you would not forgive them?
That's why I asked you earlier. Like, I always keep it funky on this show, man. Like, I've seen this within my own family, and it's something that I struggled with. And I think, as we spoke about earlier, there was more an emotional investment because it was family. Where, and even to this day, I still sway back and forth. I had to forgive, not forget, but just kind of, I had to forgive. But if it's someone, and John, he made a good point earlier, with someone that we may not be as invested with, it's a lot easier to say it's a no-go or to cut that person off. And that's if a person's indignant and not reflecting on themselves and realizing that they have a problem and they need to change it. That's where it's a no-go for me. But if it's someone who really sees the error of their ways, and it depends on how invested I am in that person, maybe. You know, I would, like you said, Nicole, earlier, forgive them for myself, because that's something that I just have to square away within myself. But I could still keep that person at a distance, even if family. But it's much easier to cut that person if it's not someone I'm invested with. You know, I know it's all over the place. It's not an easy answer. It's in layers. You know, it's really depends.
I feel you.
It depends, like we said earlier. It depends on the situation in regards to what it is and who it is. And there's there's no accepting, there's no justifying, regardless if it's family, friend, or whoever, foe. But in terms of forgiveness, which starts within you first, and then we go forth from there afterwards, depending on the person, you know.
Right.
I mean, you know, I said what I said, but that doesn't mean I'm practicing it. You know, I mean, it's hard, you know, especially if somebody is really close to you. So it's hard to forgive that person. I think, should you? Yes. You know, I think if they're working on themselves, I think it's, you know, but, and should you for yourself? Yes. You know, but it is very difficult to do.
Right. So people in the chats, have you had situations where, let's say, you were, you know, you gave somebody more of a chance than you should have been because you were emotionally attached or felt some kind of way? I'm sure we all have in one way or another. Me, I've never knowingly been in a relationship where somebody cheated on me. So I've never been in a situation where I was like, okay, this person cheated. Now what am I going to do?
Wow, brother, you dodged a lot of bullets throughout your life, boy.
If they dodged the bullet, let's get this straight. Because if I would have been in a situation at least years ago where someone would have cheated on me, it would be best that we weren't together, because I would have probably been a real jerk to them moving forward. Not even probably. It would have gotten downright diabolical.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been respectful. You know what I'm saying? It would have just been like, we might as well part ways, because this is not. And I wouldn't have been able to trust them. That's what I think. But again, we don't know, because it could have happened, and I could have been so deeply connected that I could have went back, you know? But I've never had that. How about you guys in the chats? Have you ever stayed too long? And if you stayed too long, how long did you stay? Was it like 6 months? Was it a year? Or are you still staying now? Let us know.
I mean, last episode we spoke mostly about celebrities. I mean, this is a situation that, again, it always starts at home in situations we deal with in our perspectives personally, in my opinion, whether personally or professionally, whether we cancel somebody or not, you know, I'd like to see people respond to those and just share their experiences, you know.
Mikkel said, she says, I have no idea why I stayed so long. Maybe comfort, as Vic alluded to earlier, you know. So she's had situations like that. I feel like most of us have had. Now, even without cheating, I've been in situations where I should have already left, but I, you know, rode it to the wheels fell off, unfortunately, you know.
Now, is it a thing of canceling, or is it like a gradual process? Because when you say cancel, that means just like,
well, yeah, cancel something else. We've now ventured into a subtopic, kind of.
Okay.
This is not even a cancel thing, even though these people should be canceled from our lives in those circumstances.
Right.
You know, it's ironic because it's like we're so particular about nitpicking about other people, but then in our own lives we hold on to people and things way longer than we should.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of one and the same.
Or like old friends. There were some old friends that I just still kept around in my circle because they was old friends, even though they was making brand new mistakes. They was, you know, I kept them around because they was old friends, but I didn't need them there anymore. They probably didn't need me either. It was just
absolutely, brother Lynn.
Sometimes you have to.
Lynn said, forgiveness is for yourself, not so much the other party. Helps you to heal yourself. That's what Nicole was saying earlier.
Yo, and if I could share to Len's point with that situation, Nicole, you missed it earlier. I just explained that I had a friend that slept with my ex at the time, who, you know, the friend was like a brother to me, and that was my ex. So I had to make a decision.
But hold on, that was your girl. Let's.
Yeah.
When he
slept, it was just his friend at the time.
When Vic's friend slept with this woman, who's his ex, obviously now, he was currently with her at the time.
Yes.
Wow.
And this dude was like a brother to me, and they did it in the grimiest way too. Like, I didn't find out about it, which I didn't share with you earlier, John, until like almost a year later. Like, I went to dude's graduation. I chilled with his family, who was like family to me. So this was deep in like in the nastiest way you can imagine. So I say all this to say that it took me about a year, even after I found out, because I had to do that healing within myself. I had to forgive within myself. And while my pops, a lot of other people were telling me, yo, I wouldn't even circle back to that dude, like just let him go. You know, I had to then weigh the option of like to reconnect with him as my boy or not. And what I did was weigh the good and the bad. Like, do I miss dude? Do I miss our friendship? Is it worth reconnecting back to the friendship? And I ultimately made the decision to reconnect, which I don't regret. But you know, that's
talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we had to. We had to talk about it. Yeah, we had to. There was no
fight about it. Really.
When I first found out about it.
Look, you see, Vic froze for a second.
I'm doing that. Yeah,
because he's like, "Yo, Vic was
that was the power of how he was feeling at that time."
Yeah.
Look, there's this, you know, and man to man, there's just certain places you don't go.
No,
you don't.
So what did he say? What did he say?
That was the other thing. Like to my point earlier,
that's a whole combo, I'm sure.
About when people recognize the wrong that they did and wanted to change it. He acknowledged that he was wrong. He had to. He had no choice. There would have been no entertaining the conversation if he didn't. But he said his brother told me that he missed the friendship, that he was wrong, that he wanted to be forgiven and reconnect with the friendship, as I stated, and we did so. Things were never really the same, at least for me. For me, after that, I'm not gonna front.
Of course not.
No.
How long did it take you to say yes, I forgive you, and you know, yeah, we could be boys again?
Like I said, it took that year. It took that year, literally.
So like
a full,
it was like
over
working
a year.
on that for the whole year. Okay.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, and I appreciate that, Len. I'm not mad at that comment at all. That's a friend doesn't do something like that doesn't happen.
You know, this is your dude's chick, and you gonna go sleep with her anyway? Nah.
Yeah.
In the grimiest, like I didn't even get
like,
into the
Nicole,
specifics. Grimy.
Put that in the woman's shoes. Imagine a woman sleeping with another woman's man. Like, you know,
and this is your homegirl, like your sister.
Yeah.
And this is not
you know what I mean?
This is not past like, oh, once before y'all knew each other or anything. This is
right.
y'all are together and your friend gets with your lover.
in the most grimiest way you can imagine. I didn't even get, like I said, into specifics, so we'll save that for another show. You know, yeah, it was grimy.
Yeah, well, that did happen to me before as well, but yeah, mine was kind of grimy too.
Isn't it always?
That's not even a story for a show though.
That's, yeah, you see, exactly.
We're gonna see that for the autobiography of Nicole.
Yeah, Now, Nicole, did you end up forgiving that person, or you just canceled? It was done.
So it's funny because one of them, the guy I'm Facebook friends with now, still, like we you know, he likes stuff on my, you know, like if I throw something on Facebook or something and he'll like it.
He's right.
Yeah, well, it happened so long ago. I mean, we're in our 50s, and that was in our 20s.
But did he ask for forgiveness?
He did. I mean, he did a lot to try to like make up for it. I think the two of them, like it took me a while though. It took me a while, but it was hard.
Did they ask for forgiveness? Not just he, because they were both wrong.
So well, so my friend, my girlfriend it was a little weird because, I didn't like the way she, honestly, I can't even point to where she apologized. I think it's this whole story behind it, but it was just weird the way she was trying to tell me. And I guess I just wasn't paying attention, and finally she just came out and said it.
Oh, that's how you found out, her telling you eventually.
She told me, and then but she only gave me a little tidbit. So then when I went to him, then he gave me more details, and I was like, wait, what?
He's like,
yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop.
Yo, ironically, Nicole, I didn't tell y'all that's how I found out as well. Dude told me. He told me because she was still doing a thing on the side even after him while she was still with me. So he was like, to
with
end
him?
this all. No, with someone else. Exactly.
Oh, with somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you need to get rid of her.
Yes.
Who was this harlot? This whore with a W.
Yo.
Sorry.
Nah, so he basically threw himself under the bus as well to just cut everything for me to just cancel her indefinitely, because he just saw that she wasn't
right.
He saw the error in his ways, and he saw that she still kept on with her ways. So he was like, in order for all of this.
Wait, so it took him a year though to tell you that he saw the error in his ways. Now, was that because he was mad because she was cheating on him with some other dude as well as cheating on you?
No.
Was that why he told you?
The lawyer.
No. I didn't. I know, right? I don't remember the timeline exactly when I found out. I just know that he was the one to tell me, and it took me a year to forgive him. But her and I were off and on. Her and I were off and on, and then when I forgave him, I believe she was still in the picture, or she may have made her way back into the picture. And he saw what she was doing. So that was when, I'm sorry, I'm getting my timeline all messed up. But he told me, and like I said, to dead everything in regards to her. And it took me a year to forgive him. That's how the whole situation happened. So no, it didn't take him a year for him to, I'm confusing myself now. I'm confusing myself. There was so much.
Mikhail said, who knew this discussion was going to turn into a soap opera?
Yes.
Right. Over here with a popcorn like
up.
Right, yeah, so then
Young and the Restless, Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, like it was all the above, man. As the world turns.
Wow.
No, that's.
Well, now I want to hear the full story. How grimy was it?
We'll talk stories. You won't believe the details I left out.
I want to hear both of y'all full stories, to tell you the truth.
Grimy as a mug, man.
Because these people both seemed a little grimy. Like Nicole's homegirl seemed like she didn't really apologize. She just felt
I was thinking the same.
Because I'm telling you what happened. This is kind of my apology.
I was thinking the same thing.
And Vic girl, the harlot, I don't know what was in her head.
Harlot.
Dude, I guess dude felt guilty eventually. Because ironically, a lot of people don't usually admit to it. They get caught.
Right.
So
Right.
the apologies are empty apologies because they're only apologizing because they got caught. If they didn't get caught, it wouldn't have stopped.
It's not what it looks like. No, you
No, it
don't
is.
understand. Let me explain.
What you just put the tip in? No, it is. Well, no, it's everything what I think it is and more. And my imagination would go places. So I'm glad I didn't deal with the cheating because it wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been kind.
Yo, dude. I
That's
told you
crazy.
that what's the name of that podcast we were gonna do? I told
Relation-
you I had some. Yeah, I told you I got some stuff.
Oh
man.
no, I
Now
got
wait,
some
so
crazy.
I got some stuff.
okay, so I have a question now. So did you forgive the woman?
Well, she was cut out of my. She was canceled.
You haven't talked
And-
to her since.
And no. So ironically, with the whole Facebook thing, that's when she made her people come back.
Listen, people come up missing, capital
My brother
missing
Len. My
after
brother
issue
Len.
like that.
I still owe you that call, brother. So stay tuned. I got some stuff for you. But
Wait,
yeah,
didn't Chris Rock have a stand-up joke about that? He was like, "You've never been in love if you have never thought about plotting how you're gonna kill this person."
Yo, some people come up missing for real,
But
man.
Did you forgive her?
Yeah, no. So what Nicole was saying about how the dude popped up on her Facebook, she popped up on my Facebook years later. I guess just like stalking for a while or whatever. I hit the mute by accident. And she decided to message me and say, "Hey, it's me. Just wanted to see how you were doing with your life. You look good as always, yada, yada, yada." Like kind of smoothing me out or whatever, I guess, to just
get out of here.
Yeah.
Harlot.
So I'm like, you know what? I didn't forgive her.
I'm sorry.
Nah,
this is why I couldn't take cheating.
Yeah.
This is why
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at John, his comments.
I would be too.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
No, but there's no long story to it. Like she just messaged, smoothed me out a bit to get some information, see how I was doing. I guess to see if I was with somebody. And I told her, hey, I'm with somebody. And I don't know if I forgave her for me, like we were discussing earlier, but I haven't rocked with her since that message through Facebook.
No.
There's been no long-winded conversation since then.
I mean, she not only was with this dude, but she was with somebody else too. Like she kept it
you
going.
You don't even know the half, homeboy. You
don't
know
even.
The half.
Oh God, see, yeah,
Dude.
see, keep me away from her. Don't let me find out who
half.
she is on Facebook because I'm gonna look her up and I'm gonna harass her verbally, respectfully. Because we're in the
respectfully.
I'm going to respectfully harass her on the internet.
Your Honor, I am not guilty of harassment because I was respectful.
Right. I didn't use any caps. Every time I said something mean, I put LOL after it. So let me ask y'all this question. This is just a date question because we're in that place. So I'm just going there. Have you ever walked out on a date or like left a date early? Even in the chats, has anybody ever left a date?
Man, I got so much.
I don't think I left it, but because it was always difficult but I have gotten on a date where I'm just like, I already know this is not gonna work, and just waiting for it, to just hurry up and end.
Oh, those suck. Oh my God.
Yeah, they do. Those are mad uncomfortable.
Because they feel like it's lasting forever.
Because I didn't want to be disrespectful or
okay.
Especially if they seem like they're having a good time and I know I'm not.
Okay. She said no women joy in suffering through it.
Or
by it, she means all of it, whether it's a date or otherwise. So let me tell you, okay, so what would y'all have done in this situation? In brief, many, many moons ago, I had a blind date with a girl. I should have known because it was like from blackplanet.com. That's how far back that goes.
Wow.
You know how ratchet that was. Anyway, we get on our date. When I show up to the restaurant we're supposed to meet at, he said spectful. When I show up to the date, she's sitting at the table already. No, I'm sorry. She's not sitting at the table. She's sitting in the waiting area with her daughter, her young daughter, that might have been like about 6 years old. I've never heard about a daughter. We didn't discuss anything like that on our date. And as a single
Like,
dude,
this is the first date?
This is the first date, the first meeting in person.
And she showed up with her daughter.
She showed up with her daughter.
Like,
so we sat down at the table, and before we even ordered, before there was anything about ordering and me having to pay for some food, I said, I'm going to the bathroom, and I bounced.
But wait, okay. Look, she might have been, sometimes mothers have to do what they have to do for their children. And she might have been trying to figure out, how do I feed my child?
Well, she didn't figure it out that moment because it wasn't through JP. Like Steve said, it was deuces.
Oh my gosh.
There's no.
I wonder how long she sat there before she realized that you weren't coming back.
I don't know.
My man didn't stick around to find out.
She messaged me a few times. I didn't even look at her messages like a day later. I didn't even look at her messages. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to understand. I didn't nothing. But how do you show up to a first date? Listen, if she had talked to me about it first, then we could have had a discussion. I would have then still said, hell no, let's have a date another night. I don't need our first date to be with your child. And I already know if your baby is there, then we ain't getting to the end result that I was looking for. So
canceled.
Goodbye.
Well, okay. No, I was just thinking that maybe she was gonna say, hey, her father is coming to pick her up. I'm sorry, but I did, just to be transparent, I do have a child, but I want to let you know she's not staying. He's coming in a few minutes. And I just wanted to let you know.
See, you're trying
to answer Mikkel's question, no, absolutely not.
Mikkel asked, you never took Imani on a date?
No, absolutely not. No.
Date, I would have wanted to film that date with what Imani, with her commentary. Oh my God. I would have loved.
She was funny when she first met, my last ex. She was just like, she's, how you usually sit in the back seat and you sit on one side or the other. She was in the middle, and she was just like, just.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Listen,
and this is, like we had got to the point, like I was engaged, so she was like, I don't know him. I don't know who he is. She was not having it.
No, apparently, yeah. And then it didn't work out.
She's still like that.
That wasn't a question. I already know Nicole wouldn't have Imani on a date. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, what would y'all do? Steve said, my baby checks, folks. Check. Like, would you have stuck around for that date?
She certainly does.
That's a good question.
Or not even just stuck around. What would you have done?
Wait, yeah, because he's contemplating. He was like, that's a good question. Like,
no.
It is a good question.
No, because I don't know, like, to your point earlier, Nicole, like if you would have stayed around or if I would have stayed around to get an explanation, but I'm thinking, listening to the story, like there should have been an explanation prior to the date. John, you would have.
Lynn said, John, you have to start out with all due respect, then you go completely left.
Exactly.
When you say left, you mean left like going away, because I definitely bounced.
Exactly.
I hit that bathroom, and then I'm peeking out from the bathroom like, and then boom. As soon as I knew the coast was clear, I was out.
See, Nicole, your explanation is a reasonable
one. She didn't deserve.
One,
go ahead.
But it should have been done prior to
right
to the date and to the encounter. So that I can't fault John for his.
I mean, maybe I was extreme. Maybe I was a little extreme. I can admit that. I talked to her, but to me, you didn't talk to me ahead.
Right.
No, I'm messing with you because I think it was she should have said something beforehand. I mean, you just don't pop up with your daughter on a date.
Okay.
Especially in the age of Black Planet. So knowing your age, and if that was the age of Black Planet, you're young, it's like, no one that age wants to be sitting across from
with
a
this
child on their
6-year-old.
first date.
With this 6-year-old I ain't never met. Now I'm feeding
Mhm.
both of y'all because think about it. I was gonna look like the bad guy if I sat there and paid for
Right.
the
Well,
mother's
I'm only
food,
paying
not
for
the
you.
daughter's too.
Yeah,
Nah, you ain't getting me.
that's really
Right.
inconsiderate
Hey,
and just like,
Raggedy
come
Ann,
on.
you better take that somewhere else. So I got I got one more situation for y'all.
Mhm.
Okay. Because this is where we went with it. So we're past cancel right now. We're just talking relationships.
I do have a question about cancel though.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
But you could go to I mean, well, we can come back to relationships, I guess, if you want. I was just gonna ask the question earlier that Vic asked about would you forgive them? So the person that you were talking about last time in the first cancel culture episode
Mm-hmm.
that just canceled y'all.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she came back and she said, I was going through some stuff. I don't know. I I don't even understand why I did that. And
It's a
but
good
it,
question.
and here's the reason why it impacted me so much to
Mm-hmm.
make me like go off on you all and then cancel you. Would
Mm-hmm.
you forgive her?
John, you want to take this one? Because I feel like you were more affected, not affected, but like you had more of a connection with her than I did.
Mikhail was
So
like, yeah, I'll speak for both of us.
Thank you.
yo, that's facts. That's
Okay.
facts, man.
I would forgive because there's no reason for me to hold on to anything. In fact, I've already forgiven her. I'm done with that. I'm disconnected from that. But I wouldn't be rolling with her because I've already given you that chance before and you kind of showed your ass. So I'm good on seeing your ass. I'm good on that. I don't need to see it anymore. So I'm
It,
good. So I will forgive you and we will have a good conversation so you could walk away from that feeling like, okay, we all right. Or okay, like you got your closure. But after that point, I can't, nah. If she reaches out to me, she reaches out, but I wouldn't be reaching out. I'm good.
yeah, and I would have to double up on that. We didn't have much of a connection off camera anyway, like that. Like a couple inbox messages here and there, but like the same for me. I would forgive because it's not that deep to me, but I would definitely keep at a distance, whether virtually, reality, any other type of ality.
Yeah.
Just yeah, no, I wouldn't be rocking with her like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel that. I would forgive, but I wouldn't trust. And trust is huge, huge for me. I don't know how flaky or fickle this person would become again in the future. So, and it's not, no one's perfect, but I just, nah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm
We're gonna
good. I
have
don't need every and anyone in my life surrounding me like that, especially people who are
nah,
like that. I'm good.
I am not beat. Like even the single version of me wouldn't have been beat. But a married man, I'm like, look, I don't have the retention in me for dealing with some female with some stuff. I'm dealing with my wife. And that's not to
Mhm.
say it in any kind of way, but
Mhm.
it's different than being single, just like for women when they're married. It's just different. So
Mhm.
bye, Felicia. We good. But anyway, so this cancel culture conversation that we were trying to have when the episode began, it merged into something else, but that's okay.
Well,
We're
hold
gonna
on,
have
John.
to.
I'm sorry. I would ask Nicole that same question. If it were you in our situation, would you circle back or would you cancel?
I don't think I would have circled back. I think I probably would handle it um the same way you did. You know, and I think it also depends, like when it comes to my family, it's hard for me to forgive. I get there, but it's hard for me to forgive right away.
Mhm.
So other other stuff, it's not, I'm like, whatever, it ain't that serious. Um Now, like I might treat you differently, we'll have a different relationship, and might be more at a distance and everything. So I think I probably do the same thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, if it's like family involved and you did some stuff to the family, then it's just, I don't know if I ever get there, but I do know I understand, about forgiving people, and I'm willing to hear if somebody has some circumstance that was going on and why they, acted the way they did. Um, but yeah, same here. I was just wondering because we were talking about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you guys like to say? I'm just gonna let you guys talk because yeah. Nicole is good at saying, whatever. That's what Mikhail said. Anything else in the chat?
Imani is much better at it.
Big up to
she's
I don't
clear
know
cut
where
and
she gets that
concise,
from.
huh? Clear cut and concise.
Oh, she's one of those people. Yeah, it's just very straight to the point,
Love it.
and she doesn't like a lot of words. She doesn't like you to waste her time. She's
I like that. Yeah.
She knows what she wants. She and very clear about it, and she wants you to be the same. And then she gets annoyed if you're not. So I tend to be a little bit more verbose. So she doesn't like that about me. I tell story. I had a coworker of mine, and he told me, as I'm doing the same thing that I'm telling you about, but I had a coworker of mine, and so one day he told me, he said, Nicole, you can ask you a question, and then you will tell this whole story, and you like go all the way around corners and telling all these, going off on these tangents and telling these stories, and you're like, where's she going with this? And then, when I'm done with the story, I bring it on home, and it's like, oh, that's what she meant. Imani is totally opposite. So yeah. John looks very contemplative. Like, are you? Did we? Cause you think about an ex or something? Like, yeah, right.
No, I'm just letting y'all talk. I keep getting interrupted when I'm trying to go to something else.
Oh,
so I'm
sorry.
just letting y'all talk.
That's our fault, brother.
No, it's okay. It's over now. So I'm just letting y'all talk. Good. I'm good.
It's like you feel some kind of way about that.
Hey, baby. How you doing? No, I want y'all to be able to say whatever you want to say. So please finish.
No, go ahead, brother. It's on you. You got the spotlight.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
We got what? 2 minutes and change?
Put the spotlight on him, Mikhail.
Oh God, please don't. Mikhail said we had like 3 other videos. We were out of time. Yeah, I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had a whole thing, but then y'all kept bouncing. Well, Nicole, what do you think? Well, Vic, what do you think? Well, Nicole, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Okay.
We were playing host today.
Away. Because you know what? Sometimes you have to just allow the flow to flow, even if it ain't the flow that you initially created or wanted to do. You have to let the flow flow. So that's why I just sat back. So it wasn't it was me sitting back and allowing you guys to have the space to say whatever you felt in the moment, really. So it's all good.
I want to know when we're going to hear the grimy details of the little escapade with what you call it, Harlot, Miss Harlot.
Yeah, hold on though. Hold
That's
on,
Miss Harlot to you.
Miss Harlot, if you're nasty. But Nicole, let's see. Nicole's slick. That's that lawyer thing because she's like, oh, I want to hear his story, but let's hear yours too. When do we get to hear?
I told you mine is not, mine is not made for TV.
Well, Vix is dealing with a harlot, so his ain't made for TV either. I'm certain. So okay, we'll have a
relationship podcast
eventually.
Relationship podcast.
It doesn't sound like
relationship podcast. There you go.
I mean, listen, yes, but it doesn't sound like y'all would even talk about it there either. Because Nicole's this thing's supposed to be on TV, online, or nothing.
I'm down. I'll get into it.
Vic, might be saying, let's do a podcast.
Have like fake names for folks.
Yeah, we're like, so this woman in the witness protection program named Diane who's joining us. And it'll be Nicole, and she'll be talking about her whole life. That would be interesting, though, actually. But yeah, I don't even know what to say about this episode. This.
Well, I mean, in some
No,
sense,
in
it
a
was
good way.
It was canceled. It
In a
just
good way.
we went from celebrities last week to personal experiences. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to. Well, we'll do another episode eventually because I really wanted to cover
the videos,
Kobe
the 3
Bryant,
videos you had in line. Yeah.
You know.
Oh yes,
like
yes.
that because
the what?
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant.
Oh.
Yo, let's let this spill into next week. I'm down. And we'll stay on topic. We just know specifically what we're gonna address
next month.
Oh, excuse me, next
funny.
month. Next month. Yes.
It was funny because I had the connection issues in the beginning, and then I got on and I was like, okay, how do we get on domestic violence?
This is true. She's right about that.
Yeah, Vic went there early. Vic went there early with it, but it's okay. I almost want to play that video right now, but we're not. But now I want to talk about Kobe and some of the others because, it's like Kobe and Michael Jackson both were found innocent.
But we've gone over a couple of times before. We should do another extra 15, 20. I'm down.
I wasn't trying to just jump in on y'all time.
Nah, let's do it.
Producer. Mikkel, can we do 10 minutes?
Yeah, let's do it. Well, not Mikkel, I'm saying.
Okay, no,
I can't go over 7:15, but I can, yeah.
Okay, 7:15. That's it. Okay. Play the video.
Let's do it.
Kobe Bryant, please.
So you find trash statements like this, for example, that are beyond repugnant. I mean, they utilize some 13-year-old as collateral while talking about Gaia delivering karma. I mean, rest in peace, 13-year-old, but. And there are a lot of people that were caught in this too. You have other families that were, but hey, this is all you can see. It reads like these people go to the generic post store too. They go out again and they utilize Kobe's family. They utilize the daughter. They talk about how heartbroken they are. And again, they add the caveat but. He was a sports hero. He was also all of these things, they can exist simultaneously. And when I notice posts like this, they're becoming more and more prevalent, trying to get out that hot take from a blue check mark, no less. It saddens me inside. I mean, these folks, they talk about in before the eulogies begin. Look at what some of these folks say, too. They want him to rot in. Well, I wonder if that extends to his family. I mean, because you were a counselor out there, you think that that's the best way forward? Because, hey, all of this stuff, it gets you some notoriety. I mean, you see that. I don't mourn. I feels like a bunch of people on the timeline forgot that Kobe Bryant was. I'm sad for his family, but maybe the wrong time, but also maybe the exact right time. Here's your reminder that Kobe Bryant was whose defense strategy was leaking his accuser's name for all the deranged fans to harass and threaten into dropping the case. That is all. I mean, this over and over and over again. I mean, it says so much about people, so much indeed.
Now, see right there, as far as cancel culture goes, this man was found innocent. Not only was he found innocent, but then it was found that the woman who accused him had slept with at least 2 other people that night. That still doesn't mean that she didn't have the right to then say no to him, because she absolutely did, but he was found innocent. And then the day that this man dies in the horrific way he did with his daughter and all these other 7 people, these tweets were the day he died. What are we doing? What is that?
It's disgusting. I'm sitting here watching this video and just plain disgust. Like the karma for his daughter dying with him. Like, really?
As a parent,
disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. To fix your mouth to even narrate that in the way that you're delivering it too is just like, and I'm like, nah, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that.
I give the narrator respect, because if you notice, every time the word rape or rapist came up, he wouldn't say the word. he just would say, he wouldn't say the word rape or rapist, because this man was found innocent.
I wouldn't have even read what he read, period, for me. I mean, that's just,
I mean,
rape
he was
or any
making
other
the point.
syllable.
I
Yeah.
get
So
it.
if he were found guilty, would you feel the same? Like
About
if you if you were raped, right? And the person got off because you couldn't prove the rape, would you still feel raped? Would you still call that person a rapist?
yeah, of course you would.
Yeah, if the person did the crime, then they did the crime. That's it. If they raped, they raped it. Like whether he was
And
found
then if
guilty or not.
okay, so if this person is a rapist and then they die, would you still feel the same way?
Of course you would.
Wrong is wrong.
I mean, like meaning like
About
would
the rape.
you feel the same way that these tweets are inappropriate? You know, like the man died with his daughter, you know, in a horrific
Well,
way. I mean, is it karma?
That's a good question.
I probably wouldn't feel anything for the person who raped me, but for these other people, I would, feel like, damn, that's sad, But for people like us, the average person, we can't go by a case by, well, he got acquitted, but he could have still did it. Because then it could have been, well, he was found guilty, but it could have been that the evidence was piled against them or something was fixed. So we have to eventually go with what the verdict was. Because if we don't, then what are we judging by?
And again,
and that question was not like it wasn't about. I was just wondering.
That's a great question.
You said that.
that was a really
like. What about you, Vic?
No, that was a really good question. I was about to say Kobe went on to whether he was found guilty or not, he felt remorseful for the whole situation in regards to his family, his wife, and just in general. And he tried to make amends with his wife and everything. He tried to repair the damage that it did to his family publicly with the embarrassment and everything, whether he was found guilty or not. So in that sense, I saw him doing the work, and to the point that we were all making earlier, to try to repair. The problem with rape is that so many rapists get off, and it's hard to answer that.
But finish your thought, please.
No, yeah, I agree with that statement, and I mean that was it. I mean, I just felt like he did so much. First of all, I didn't believe that he did that. Okay, but like I said, I felt more for his wife, because I think with the court case, they were saying, you and I talked about this, John, how they even questioned the woman's mental health at that point for even the statement that she made of being raped and the whole situation. But to answer Nicole's question, can you ask that again specifically? Nicole?
Well, I'm just wondering if he were a rapist, I mean, would you feel, and he died with his daughter in the same manner, would the tweet still be appropriate? He's a racist. I mean, he was a rapist, so should we not mourn?
Yeah, no, personally, I
particularly because
I wouldn't have mourned him. I wouldn't have mourned him. Like I said, there's I just, what I do? I turn it to God to deal with. I don't sit there and assess it and analyze it to say karma and this and that. Like, it's like people who commit suicide, when they make all these statements about, oh, well, they committed suicide, so they're going to the devil. And you can have your opinion, your belief. Yeah, exactly. You can have your opinion and beliefs, but I don't do that. And with the whole karma thing and, his daughter, like listening to that just really disgusts me to even hear it. I wouldn't have even been able to read that, let alone listen to it. You know what I mean?
What about you, Nicole? What's your answer to that same question?
Good question. Yeah.
Well, I think the thing here with Kobe is that he was beloved by a lot of people, and so a lot of times when like we didn't want to believe anything about Michael Jackson,
Who was also
You
found
know,
innocent.
we have people, we didn't want to believe stuff about Bill Cosby.
Bill
You know, he
Cosby.
was, you know, the character he played and all of the philanthropic things that he's done in the community. We loved him, you know. So it's hard when you hear these things about people you love. And then when he was not found guilty. So you're right. I mean, we can't really technically call him a rapist in the legal sense because he was not found guilty.
Right.
But I do know that, you know, it's not always about what happened or what was true. It's just about what you can prove, you know, in court.
See?
So, and when it comes to rape and sexual assaults and stuff like that, a lot of times you'll attack the woman. Now, look, Kobe was in a position where, you know, I did a stint at the NBA, with the Basketball Players Association. I met, what's his name? I always forget his name. Bill Russell. Really, really beautiful spirit. Really nice man. But anyway, and there was this other guy that was there. They were head of the Players Association. And when they had the rookies come in, they would have people who, like, they specialized. Some people like had, you know how like in law we have, you know, I do labor and employment. So someone else might do patent law. Someone else might do wills and trusts and estates and stuff like that. You know, you have somebody might do criminal defense. You might have a specialty or whatever, you know. And they're criminals, but they specialize in, they basically were, what do you call them?
You got 3 minutes, Nicole. Just
sorry, I'm thinking of the word but anyway, they specialize in a particular sport. Some do boxers, some do football players, some do basketball players, whatever it is. But some do a whole different area. I mean, but a lot of times you have these people who just they make their money by, you know, getting creating these scandals for these artists. I mean, artists, for these, it happens in the music industry as well, but creating these scandals for these athletes because they know they're young, hormones are raging, they're not very smart, don't make the best decisions, especially in that moment. And they have all this money, right? So they just basically scam them out of money. And then they brought them in the beginning so that they can, you know, they warn them about it. These people, you know, and the good ones, they'll get past security, they'll be up in your room and all this other stuff. Anyway, so he's in an industry where you have people preying on you constantly. And there might be some people who are mentally ill. And, you know, so that might have been the case about that woman. Maybe she was mentally ill. Maybe there was no rape that occurred. I don't know.
We don't.
But I'm just saying, you know.
But you make a good point, Nicole.
Is it appropriate for you to say I shouldn't mourn him because, you know, like you could mourn someone or feel bad about them, but also, you know, feel bad about their death, but also like, but you raped somebody, you know. I don't know.
No, but I mean, you know, have empathy. Obviously, I would, in most cases, if you've been raped by someone and they passed away, it's like, hey, you know. But it goes both ways, though, with the whole Kobe thing, because it's like, you can say he was found innocent, but a lot of guys in his position get away with stuff. Then you could say he was found innocent, but a lot of women are lined up trying to get these people. Like, we know this on both sides. So then it's like, what do you?
No, well, Nicole,
people are really.
I was just going to say, I like the point that you made real quick, that we got to be open to the idea that even our beloved celebrities are capable. They're still human beings at the end of the day.
Right.
So I like that point that you made. Yeah, we're flawed.
And that's tough because you're right. Because Kobe, I didn't think he did it. But then at the same time, two people who were convicted of rape, I didn't think they did it either. But it's like, well, wait a minute. So I'm not judging properly. And those two people is Mike Tyson and Tupac.
Did OJ do it? You know,
well,
so this is like, so the people who are making these comments online, they're like the people who, you know, the people who are for the OJ and the people who are not for OJ. And then, you know, then you got the people like, we just wanted OJ to be found, not guilty just because this was the first time we got to see a black man having enough money to pay for the, proper representation to get him off.
Pay to be innocent.
Johnny
But we kind of felt like, I don't know, that stuff kind of sounded kind of fishy. But you have some people who are like, on the other side that, no, I know he did it and I feel very strongly and passionate about it. And that's what you get a lot on Twitter and all of the social media. You get a lot of people who get really passionate about their side and they want you to go to their side and believe what they believe and try to and then shun you if you don't.
Especially when race is involved as well, because a lot of these people that were commenting about Kobe were white, and this makes a difference. That's why I had a problem with Gail when she tried to go in with that. Okay, I know Nicole said she had to go, and we got to get ready to woosah. But yeah, I did not like Gail for what she did. And then when Snoop came out and said what he said, they wanted to have a red table talk to calm him down. Y'all need to have a red table talk for Gail. Like
I'm trying to remember what Gail did.
It was an interview she did with Lisa Leslie from the NBA. Them gloves didn't fit, so they happy with comments. Johnny Carson said it so, right. Well, anyway, in short, Gail, Gail.
Gail,
yes.
Oprah's friend.
Oprah's friend, right.
She never has a last name.
Right. Gail King, maybe.
Gail King, yes.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Wow, that's crazy. Her last name is real simple, and we couldn't just
I know, it's always like Oprah's friend, Oprah's friend.
So she was on CBS because that's where she does her interviews. She was interviewing the WNBA basketball player Lisa Leslie. I think Lisa Leslie.
Yes.
Right after Kobe died, Lisa was a friend with Kobe. She also played for the LA team of the WNBA. Gail starts going in about, well, how do you feel? I mean, Kobe died, but how do you feel about the whole thing with the rape allegations? He was found innocent. That's not the guy I know. Gail pushed further. Leslie pushed back and clearly showed, I don't want to have this conversation. But Gail continued. And so Snoop came out and was like, this B need to shut her mouth. And then all of a sudden it was like Jada Pinkett jumped up and everybody's like, get Snoop to a red table talk and he should apologize. And he played into it. My mama said I should apologize too. Man, screw all that.
Some people are ready to cancel Snoop.
I think, I remember now, but I think that was just like him calling her a B. I think he was right that, she needs to, she needs to stop it. I mean, Lisa Leslie is saying like, that's not who I knew. That's not the person that I knew. Maybe he did do that, but that's not the person I knew. And it should have been left there. And but as a journalist, though, that is how you get the answers. You have to push people as well. But I didn't see the actual interview, so I don't know. But I'm just saying, I'm not even coming to Gail's defense. I'm just saying that I can understand and why she might have felt the need to push a little because that's what they do as journalists.
That's what the average journalist has
Snoop,
to do.
Yeah, I think he should only apologize for calling her a B because she, she's a good journalist and she didn't deserve to be called a B, and you shouldn't be calling another black woman a B. We got enough of that already. But that's all he needed to apologize for.
Right. So we shouldn't call a black woman a B, but that black woman who was called a B, not that you're saying this, at the same time was downing a man who just died. And
she was reporting.
It wasn't
she was
like
reporting and asking for a comment.
It wasn't like but she asked a comment and kept pushing even after the sister clearly showed she didn't want to talk about it. And it's not like he raped her. If he was a rapist, then yes, that's the conversation. But accused? It was like, what are you doing? Gail doesn't have to do that. You're Oprah's friend. You're not under the same pressure as the average journalist who has to do it to make a living. You don't have to make a living. You're just there doing it because listen.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. That's what I was just thinking. I wonder if she was pressured to do that. You know what I mean? She still has producers and stuff.
Right. But that's the time.
So I'm just wondering if that's what happened.
You're in the position. That's the time where you stand up and expose that or say, yo, no, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll continue.
I mean, I see both sides to that. Yeah.
I do too.
I forgot about that.
And listen, and I have, to some degree, forgiven Gail. Gail was trying to prove herself.
Yep, and that's the thing too. You said she's Oprah's friend. That's the thing. She's always Oprah's friend and not Gil. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
but she don't make it
she
no
always
better.
has to try to prove herself.
Right, but then every other time, like I feel like there's several times where I've seen her on CBS where they bring Oprah on too. So it ain't even like you can't get away from Oprah's friend. Let's just, no matter what story
But
you
that
do.
might be what she's trying to do.
Yeah, but
Like she might be trying to
him as a
establish herself
rapist?
as I am a competent journalist in my own right without having
Right.
to be Oprah's friend.
But
And
listen,
that might be where she is in
the
her
white
headspace.
reporters weren't doing that.
Do they
It was
ever have
her.
to?
It was her, and it was Twitter.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if that was something behind the scenes that she was being forced to do. You know what I mean? Because that's sometimes what happens where, you get
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. But
we get
to me-
pitted against each other,
Yeah.
for the story, for the ratings.
You're Oprah's friend. Like Mikkel says, she has access to Oprah 24/7. You can literally start your
I mean,
own
look,
news
I'll say I'm
network
Oprah's friend. I will drop that name all the time.
all the time. I'd be at Burger King like, excuse me,
Who else can say
I'm
that?
Oprah's friend. So you better put
Right.
extra cheese on that Whopper.
Right.
Anyway. Okay, so we're gonna go.
Yeah,
We're
let
gonna
me go.
I was about to go grab my popcorn. Y'all two were like, John had his spotlight just now. That was volleying.
It's Nicole.
Ping ponging back and forth.
I know, sorry. And
It's
then
the
I have
lawyer.
like a 7:30 call, so I gotta
go. You go. We'll close
and I
out.
gotta
You
just
go
do a little reading before I talk.
You go ahead. We'll close out. Everybody say bye to Nicole. Bye, Nicole.
Bye, Nicole.
I wasn't sure what that meant. I was like, okay.
Oh God.
All right. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Bye.
Listen, Nicole's gonna be back tomorrow for Super MC.
Yes, for a portion though, like a portion.
Whatever you can do.
Beautiful.
We appreciate it.
I have the other event before that.
Yep, whatever you can do. We'll talk. Salute.
All right. All right. See you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So listen, everybody that's watching Like It Ain't, we appreciate you sticking around for the extra time. We appreciate you going with us with the conversation, we wanted to just talk about cancel culture, but it went other places. And I enjoy that.
Same here. I still believe it went with the cancel.
Yeah. I mean, I have to learn to step back and allow the flow to be the flow. You know what I'm saying? And I like where the conversation went when it came to relationships. I almost wish it kept going on relationships because we got some stories.
Absolutely. And I think the premise, honestly, I think the premise at heart of the last conversation of cancel culture with the last episode was due to the relationship that we had with this other person that Nicole mentioned earlier without mentioning her name. So that was pretty much the gist of the cancel culture conversation.
Yeah.
And it just spilled into this episode being more of a personalized thing than the celebrity thing.
Yeah. And now that Nicole is gone, I can say that Gail can kick rocks with no shoes and socks.
You could have said it when she was on.
No, I didn't. I wanted her to say what she had to say at the time. I know she had to go. Gail can kick rocks with no shoes and socks. And Snoop shouldn't have had to publicly apologize on Red Table for calling somebody a bitch. Because did you make him apologize for all the times he called women B on records? Because y'all was thinking in the club when Snoop is singing "Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks." Y'all shaking your ass to that. But as soon as he called Gail a bitch, it's like, oh. But don't get me wrong.
I was thinking the same thing when she mentioned.
But let me say, no woman should be called out of her name.
Not at all.
I'm not saying that that's okay. But what's also not okay is you're not going to sit here and play Kobe the way you did. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Anyway, we're going to end for the night. We're going to wrap up. I really wanted to play this Dave Chappelle video. I had a funny Dave Chappelle video for y'all. We'll save it for another episode because then we're gonna
leave Nicole out of it. Yeah,
we're gonna just keep going.
Yo, let's start the next one off with this.
We might. Who knows?
I know we have. I know you have more clips.
We're gonna have another topic. Or there'll be more to talk about. Rest in peace, Paul Mooney. Forgot to say that.
Yes.
Although I didn't like the stuff he was saying about Richard Pryor towards the end, but Rest in peace, brother.
Well, I heard he suffered a bit of dementia too. So that may have come into play. Who knows? God only knows. But rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
Paul
to that
Mooney.
brother.
That one hit hard for me. That was
Rest in peace to that brother. And big up to Seed Popular. Big up to Lynn, brother Lynn. Big up to everyone that's tuned in and stayed tuned with us for this episode. Just know tomorrow night's gonna be off the hook. Super MC. It's 88 till infinity. So that means we are covering hip hop that came out in 1988. Do you know what happened in 88? Come on. You're going to find out. Come vibe with us.
Yes.
I told Vic already he's going to have to dress light because it's going to get crazy with the music.
I got you.
It's going to get crazy. Mikkel said
I agree.
We're going to have so many other things to talk about. Exactly. We won't get back to this anytime soon. I already know that.
Cancel. That's what I was saying. Cancel culture transcends to so many different topics. It's not just the celebs and like this is like it goes on and on. There's so many different outlets. We can, you know what I mean?
It does. I feel like our next few episodes, we need to do like some celebration episodes. You know, we've talked about some of the wrongs and some of the stuff, but then we need to also get back to celebrating Blackness. Because know, we love our heritage, we love our people, we love our Blackness. BDK 88.
Set it straight. Exactly what I keep quoting.
Straight.
Yes.
You already know, Seed. You already know, brother. I hope that you get to join us tomorrow because trust me,
you don't want to miss it. I already know.
I have some surprises for Vic that I just can't wait till I get to because
I already know.
Vic's gonna y'all gonna have a great time tomorrow. So check us out tomorrow night, Super MC. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my brother Vic. He's got 2 new episodes of the Victory Is Ours podcast. Go check it out now. Go to his page so that you can go click on the link to watch the podcast. We'll listen to the podcast right now. And also you'll be able to check out his music too. You drop the joint that's on Spotify now. Check this brother out. Like,
appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Stop fronting. Don't play yourself. Play the music. You know what I'm saying?
And be sure to check this brother out with everything he's got going on as well. Like It Ain't, Super MC, and so many other incredible projects. You need to subscribe to Jersey Art Productions. Him and his wife got it going on. They're incredible.
Let me tell you something.
Support.
If y'all don't subscribe to this channel, I'm gonna start sending nip pics in y'all inbox of my nip. If y'all don't want to see my nips, you better subscribe. Peace. Take us out of here, man. I'm about to take some nip pics right now.
Cancel this. Cancel now, please.
I'm not going to send them to you. You already subscribed. You're safe. Wait, did Vic subscribe? Okay, Vic, let me check.
I've been subscribed.
Okay, if you didn't, you better now. You're about to get some pics. Peace, y'all. We love y'all. Power to the people. All people.